Uh, Greetings, Earth, populous people on the little sphere. This is James Colby Kiley, and I wrote this one just now, earlier today, for someone really close and dear to me. And actually, maybe maybe it'll help some of you guys. It could be good medicine. I don't know, but we'll find out. It's titled "Don't Let That Fire Die," and it goes. Remember those nights in the beginning when we took communion through eating and drinking, the flesh and blood of friendship? What a simple and fun time with the women, white Merlot, endless laughing, and Tapatio. That surreal stripper party that the Eskimo took us to. And on the car ride, I spun around to look at you, wide-eyed and terrified, saying, I got a bad feeling tonight. Shit, there might be a fight. And you, wide-eyed, excited and alive, pounded the back of the seat with your fist and shouted, oh man, I'm ready, I got your back, we got this. We were sitting on the grass and back, drinking, smoking, laughing with the Eskimo, when we saw those four guys heading our way from the patio. They focused in on me. It was the fighters from my clairvoyant terror, their leader saying, hey! And in a bolt, I twisted up from my crisscrossed Indian sitting with the intensity of a madman and walked straight to the leader of the pack, dead-eyed, wild with pride, and stuck out my hand. The leader shook it, bewildered and confused, as I said, how do you do? They had lost their steam, their aura of malice squashed by my madness. The leader barely stuttered out a sentence. Are you wearing a thong? I replied no, and walked away. The pack of fighters, now more like roaches, stood for a second, then fled into the darkness. It was those damn holy jeans, with the ass all destroyed, barely held up with safety pins, getting me in trouble again. And you, standing there, slightly swaying, fist clenched and grinning, I knew you had my back, and I could play my bluff. I didn't have time to plan if the fight did occur. But after looking at you, I knew you would have taken 3 of them. We went back to drinking and smoking, with a new event to create the laughing. We had the fire then. We didn't even know it. Remember those nights in the middle, when we had collaboration? Planning and creating over games of chess, and yet more drinking nonsense. The art was alive and bright for you. I had my plans and poems, but no follow-through. And I was a little jealous of how you could pump out piece after piece. Maybe it wasn't jealousy, but we've always been competitive, and I could feel you rushing ahead of me. But I didn't hold back, and we would fill that patio with such an intensity that the night howled for the rise of the sun to send us to sleep. And it happened again. Another group of fighters came for us. But this time, I didn't have a warning. I had no sense of them coming. But the 8 of them started trashing the apartment pool below. And I let loose a bellow, hey, knock that shit off! And they did the macho man. What are you going to do about it? Come stop us. You're going to get your ass kicked. It was your turn to take control of the situation. And you pulled out your phone and yelled, I'm calling the cops. You motherfuckers better get out of here. And you went inside, leaving me on the balcony alone. And the fighters cussed and cussed, and I told them they'd better cut their losses and leave before the police start handing out handcuffs. The only sensible one of the group asked up at me, "Is he really calling?" I looked back at you talking on the phone and replied, "Yeah, man, you better get your buddies." That was a damn good bluff, I believed. You had the fire then. You held the inferno of creativity and production for both of us, since I could barely stumble through a poem a week. And while you did pull ahead, you never let me lag too far behind. And every now and again, I'd capture a bit of those flames. And we still didn't know what the fire was, but you roared with it. Do you remember a few months ago when you discovered, named, and described the fire? On my balcony, you paced back and forth at 3 in the morning, smoking constantly and spinning on an axis of your own. I sat inside at the dining table because it was too cold for me. I had the window open so I could hear you, but the screen divided and disassociated us like a Catholic confession box. And you, as the wayward sinner, and me, the humble priest, you confessed the fire, and I jotted it down on paper. You said it was art. It was alive, dynamic, fluctuating, expanding and consuming, raging, roaring, roasting. But yours was dying, being contained by responsibilities. A baby, a house, a wife. You said you got what you wanted, your noble, perfect life. But the art, you were losing the art. The fire was shrinking, slowly smoldering. But you had it in that moment, on the balcony, so wide-eyed and uncompromised. You confessed the fire was dying, and you didn't know what to do or how to feel when losing something you knew. I joined you outside after you calmed down and told you about how way back in time there was one person who held the fire for the camp and kept it alive all night, the fire bearer. I told you I'd take the fire and keep it safe for you, but I lied. I can't hold both. It's just too damn much for me alone. You've got to take yours back. Don't let that fire die. Let it burn bright in every aspect of your life. As a flicker in your son's big blue eyes. As the passionate love you make with your wife. Let that fire roar in every corner of your home. And maybe you don't have time or drive to paint or sketch. The charcoal and smudge stick go unused. But that doesn't matter. You're painting your own world. You're sketching an infant's future. There's a brilliance there, that art. It's everywhere. So let that fire grow outside if you can't keep it fueled inside. But don't let that fire die. No one's bluffing here, and it's your turn to fight. But I got your back. We got this. And that's don't let that fire die.